Takeaway time from Thiruvananthapuram as India take a 2-0 lead in their T20Is against Australia. And let's start with the man who set India on their way to that imposing total of 235. Yashas Jaiswal smashed 53 of just 25 balls. He became only the third Indian batter to reach an individual half-century inside the power play of a men's T20I innings. And how vital was that start for just the sort of impetus India needed on a ground where it can be tough to defend, where dew was expected to come in, where rain was around the corner. So India knew when they started their innings that perhaps even 200, 210 might not be enough. And the sort of fillip they needed to push for a huge total was provided by Jaiswal. So a knock that will do a lot of good to Yashas Jaiswal's prospect of making himself a more fixed part of India's T20I setup. What Jaiswal started, Rinku Singh finished. It's a small sample size. It's only 4 innings so far for Rinku Singh, but he has so far at the start of his T20I career done just what India want from a finisher. Look at his scores so far. It's 38 of 21, 37 not out of 15, 22 not out of 14 to steal that chase against Australia a few nights ago. And now this one, 31 not out of 9 balls. That was the difference between India finishing around 215, 220, and eventually posting 235. Now, India wanting finishers who can just tee off from ball one, that is a big requirement for any T20I setup, but India in particular have been searching for that. And while it's early days, Rinku Singh, with the kind of innings he's playing, is making a good case for himself to just lay more claim to that spot. On the bowling front, 2 stories of redemption from a few nights ago. Ravi Bishnoi went for 54 in Vizag in the opening T20I, and you look at his figures today and you know he was the point of difference in the bowling. Not only did he take 3 for 32 in such a high-scoring contest, just look at the poignancy of each of his wickets. Comes into bowl in the 3rd over, Australia have already put 31 in the first 2 overs, and he dismisses Matthew Short straight away. In his very next over, he gets rid of Josh English, the Centurion from the first T20I, and someone who had taken Bishnoi to the cleaners in that opening T20I. And then in his last over, Bishnoi accounts for Tim David, who along with Marcus Stoinis was keeping Australia alive just about in the run chase. So 3 crucial wickets for Bishnoi to mark a good turnaround from an ordinary outing in Vizag. And similarly for Prasidh Krishna, for him, Vizag, he conceded 50 runs. And over here, he saw his first over shellacked for 20. But then to come back and take those 3 wickets, he got a wicket of Steve Smith, which was down to Jaiswal taking a fine catch in the outfield, and then got those 2 batters bowled towards the end. So a good recovery for Prasidh Krishna as well. So these are 2 bowlers who will heave a sigh of relief given the kind of facing they had received in Visakhapatnam. From an Australian perspective, 2-0 down, staring down the barrel of a series defeat. A tough series for them to rock up for, given that half of this squad was just a week ago basking in the glory of a World Cup triumph. If they are to consider fixes in the squad, it is a limited squad they have for the remaining T20Is. The fast bowling might be an area of concern because that is where they do have fresh legs. Sean Abbott was with the traveling party but didn't really feature in the World Cup, and Nathan Ellis is in this T20I setup. You look at their figures, Ellis in 2 games has conceded 89 runs in 8 overs, and Abbott, more worryingly, 6.5 overs for 99 runs across these first 2 T20Is. Jason Behrendorff, who was one of their most economical bowlers in the first T20I, sat on the bench for this one. We had the commentators wondering if that was more to do with an injury. So between Behrendorff and Kane Richardson, they are the only options Australia could look for if they are to try and make amends in the third T20I. Only 48 hours to turn things around.